In this clip, so we've got Konstantin Kisin in his trigonometry interview with a guy called Imran Ahmed, someone who I completely disagree with a lot of his stances. But you see kind of the flip side. So Imran Ahmed is someone who is believes that hate speech should be prosecuted and is something that should be illegal. But then watch how he responds when he's challenged by Konstantin on it.
If you kept interrupting me during the course of this conversation, which you have, and I perceive that to be motivated by the fact that you're from a Muslim background and I'm from a Jewish background, would that make that hate speech?
No.
My self-perception is that.
No, it's just that you're really slow at talking and my brain's already finished your sentence
But
for
my
you.
perception isn't that. You walked out of the room, and when you walk out of here, I'm going to turn to these guys and say, well, that was a lot of hate speech, wasn't
That's
it?
fine. You can say that that's hate speech.
And then you can be
It's
prosecuted.
absolutely fine for you to say that's hate speech if you want.
And then you can be prosecuted.
If me interrupting you is hate speech, and that's your definition of it, I tell you what, you are being disrespectful to the people who do receive hate speech. The enormous number of people who receive hate speech, real, clear,
So do I.
undeniable hate speech.
So do I.
And your sophistry right now is both transparent
It's
and
not.
deeply disrespectful. And I warn you that most of your listeners will think to themselves, actually, Konstantin's being a bit of a dickhead right now.
That's interesting that you say that, because what I'm doing is I'm stress testing your argument. And the point I'm making to you is a person's self-perception can be manipulated. People can lie about how they perceive the things that they experience. And sometimes people will use the law against other people when it's badly written. Don't you think that's true?
I do think it's true.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not really being a dickhead. I'm stress testing your argument. And calling me a dickhead might be considered hate speech.
No, it's not hate speech. It's just good observation.
Fine.
So yeah, I think it's really interesting, the guy who thinks that hate speech is a crime, as soon as he's challenged on his sort of views on hate speech and how, who draws the line and how people can so easily misconstrue it. It starts actually insulting Konstantin as soon as he's challenged, and he's actually made to look a little bit of an idiot by Konstantin when he sort of flips it on him and says, "No, I was just actually stress testing your argument, because where's the line drawn? I can say something's hate speech, and you can say it's absolutely fine. So how do we draw the line? How would we differentiate between what's hate speech and what's acceptable?" Which is why I think you just have all speech really, and take the bad with the good. That's just sort of a consequence of having free speech. In this next clip, we've got Konstantin debating. It isn't even really a debate. He doesn't really say much, but I think it's still a really good clip to show a protester. So she's someone who's done a lot of sort of just stop oil type stuff, which obviously I'm against climate change and everything. I'm not against, but I think climate change is an issue. I just think the way that these Muppets go about it is just completely stupid. But yeah, watch this.
Orange confetti over newlyweds? Is it
throwing things at people in speech are very different things. You were a politician once. Some people might take issue with decisions.
orange confetti over newlyweds?
Is protesting at someone's precious day, their wedding, taking it a step too far?
To discuss this, we're joined by author and commentator Konstantin Kisin and Tracy Maligan from Insulate Britain. Konstantin first, what do you think? I mean, free speech, somebody's right to throw orange confetti over newlyweds? Is it
throwing things at people in speech are very different things. You were a politician once. Some people might take issue with decisions that you made. Should they turn up at your house and throw? You don't know what they're throwing. You got to remember this. George Osborne, look, as he's walking away, you can see he looks quite concerned because a stranger is walking up to him and is about to throw something on him and his bride. I think that is erosion of the public safety of politicians. And by the way, we've obviously had a series of incidents in this country and in the United States where, as you know, most politicians are having to walk around with bodyguards now. Is that the society we want to be moving to?
Well, Tracy Maligan, you are a spokesperson for Insulate Britain. You have taken part in direct protest yourself. You've sat on the M25 a couple of years ago in order to protest. Now, that causes aggravation for drivers, of course. Would you go as far as it to interrupt someone's wedding?
If I'd been asked to do that specific action, I'd have had to say I couldn't do it because I couldn't promise that I wouldn't have slapped him instead of just throwing confetti.
What?
Jesus
Right, you
Christ.
hit it.
Non-violence. I'm really angry. Right, this man is responsible for killing.
Sorry, what's non-violent about slapping someone?
Listen, what I said was I would have said I couldn't do it because
you wouldn't hit-
non-violence is so important with the resistance that is happening. You know, people are in resistance because we don't want to revolt in revolt. And the truth is, you know, I've heard you, Konstantin, say, you know, that feelings do not matter as much as the truth. And the truth is they killed 330,000 of our most vulnerable. Now, if any other gang of people had done that, they'd be in prison. But because they're MPs, they're having more posh parties.
Right, so...
When was this trial, sorry, where they were convicted of murder? When did that happen?
It's the austerity figures, 330,000
So you're linking
people.
the measures to the deaths of that many people. And tell us what happened.
Sorry?
Tell us what happened.
What happened with what, darling?
With what you... Sorry, you don't need to call me darling. Tell me what it is that you think Ed should know.
That our government MPs at the moment...
This is the problem with the kind of people that are on this side and debating this, is she's just gone through all that and then she's been asked, like, okay, tell us more, and she can't even explain anything. She's just reeling things off, and then when told to actually explain it, she's got nothing and freezes.
Tell me one thing George Osborne did to set back the cause of climate change while Chancellor.
You can all Google it. He said...
There you go. See, that's just, obviously you can just Google it, but that's not good enough. If you're on there to have a fucking discussion about it, and he then says, okay, tell me one thing that he's done, and she can't then give one thing, what are you doing? You're just making yourself look like an idiot. Again, I think most people agree that climate change is an issue. I think it's an issue, but the way that these guys go about it is just not the way. Instead of causing mayhem, why don't you actually get sort of facts and figures backed up and actually have a proper argument when doing this kind of thing? But they don't. They fucking block roads, and it's what this woman's doing.
Tell me.
He didn't want Britain...
You can't make an allegation about me.
Listen to me then, Ed. Let me finish.
You said to me, get with the programme, Ed, get on top of it. I'm saying to you, tell me one...
I didn't say.
You did say that. You challenged me that I didn't know what I was talking about. So I'm asking you to tell me one thing which proves you know what you're talking about. Tell me one thing George Osborne did as Chancellor to set back climate change.
He didn't put it to the top of the agenda. He didn't talk about it openly and honestly. How are you still denying that climate denial is a thing? The people who led it have been on
Who's
the
denying that climate denial is a
called
thing?
Big All versus the World.
Wait, Tracy, hold on.
No, we did this.
Tracy, who is denying that climate denial is a thing?Ey've asked you for one example of something George Osborne did, and you haven't been...
He killed 330,000 people, and he
You have an opportunity to persuade millions of people. You have an opportunity right now to persuade millions of people to do what you think.
That George Osborne did to set back climate change.
See, what they're doing here, what is going on is not wanting to have this as a question. Do you remember when Laura Tobin did a lovely segment? Last time Liam was on, he was in this seat. Laura Tobin did a segment on the science. Do you remember what you said as soon as she'd finished? Because it made me cry, Susanna.
Oh, I'm sorry it made you cry. What was it?
You don't remember Laura Tobin giving her...
Yes,
we don't
Laura
really
Tobin's
know
in
what you're
every
talking
morning.
about, to be honest. So you might have to tell us a little bit more.
You turned to Liam and said, is your house insulated? Now, that is just all you're doing
Why
is
would that
setting us
make
up
you
to
cry?
shoot
From
the
Insulate
messenger.
Britain.
So shoot the messenger. And do you know where that phrase comes
Why
from?
did that
Don't
make you
shoot
cry?
the messenger.
Why did that make you cry?
Because you heard how terrible things are going to be, water shortages, food shortages, and you smartly looked at Liam and went, is your house insulated? Like that's an intelligent response. That is shooting the messenger.
Sorry, your campaign is literally to get everybody's house insulated. I just wanted to know if the spokesperson from Insulate Britain...
So you think that's an intelligent question? It's so not. We are so
It's a
being
perfectly
failed.
appropriate question.
It really isn't in the grand scheme of things.
Why?
Is
It is, though, isn't
An
it?
appropriate question would be, how are people who are poor and in forced poverty dying in the hundreds of thousands going to afford insulation? And should we look after each other and work together?
Yes, that's also a very legitimate
Or should you keep
question.
talking about
No, that's a legitimate
people
question.
hurting
Absolutely
people
right.
on the streets who are asking for this madness to stop?
OK.
You know,
all
we
right.
need deliberative democracy, don't we? Not
Do
this
you
popularity contest.
Do you think when you block the M25, you advance your cause or set it back?
Me personally, I have seen the effect it had on the people. Look, last time I was coming on here, I didn't even tell my mum.
What was the answer to the question? Does it advance the cause or set it back?
a little bit of orange confetti and the world will think it's JS4. So we are advancing the conversation, aren't we?
You can't come on the programme and not answer any questions at all. I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. When you block the M25, do you advance the cause of tackling climate change or do you set it back?
Yeah, because people don't want to cut off their noses.
What's the answer?
I didn't hear about the
Can
climate crisis.
you answer any questions at all?
Can you give me a few minutes to answer it?
Go on.
So I hadn't heard that there was a climate crisis until there was protest. Right? Many of us out there do not know because we trust that our media, our government, if things were this bad, they would let us know. But it's only because I'm disabled that I've had loads of hours to watch select committees read really, really boring, dull reports that I know what is going on, and that breaks my heart. You show all the time people who hate what we're doing on the streets, but I know because I've been on them, there are loads of people who come up to us and say, thank God, because I feel like I'm going mad. What conversation are we having around this?
The problem is that Laura Tobin, who you mentioned a moment ago, advances the cause of tackling climate change when she comes on our programme. And I'm afraid your protests and the way you are answering questions today sets back the cause of climate change.
You don't help Laura when you hear Laura and then say, is your house insulated? Like that's, you know, the wit of the world.
I just think you make it worse.
Why is that? I still don't understand why it's in.
You don't understand why that made me cry. You don't understand why you hearing about us facing, our children facing drought, famine and war, and your response being, is your house insulated, Liam, broke my heart, Susanna.
Why?
Susanna, may I ask a question?
Yes.
You can.
Tracy,
Good luck.
Just I'm curious, what percentage, if you could tell the people of Britain, what percentage of global climate emissions is Britain responsible for?
OK, so every country is
just answer, what percentage? It's a figure.
Every country is responsible for about 1%, apart from China and India, which we do our dirty work. Grow up.
I'm trying. If we do what you want, which is spend £1.5 trillion, which is about 8 years' worth of the NHS budget.
Want to stop funding fossil fuel companies.
I just say, she's the one that's shouting and screaming like a child and seems to be unable to have a proper discussion, and yet she's the one who tells him to grow up. Fuck me.
If we do that, by what percentage will we reduce global temperatures about which you're so concerned?
Look, your argument is silly.
Could you answer the question? What impact will we make?
Leading is not telling people what they want to hear. Leading is doing the right thing regardless of what anybody else is doing. And China actually are way ahead of us.
If we reduce...
I have to say, that is the first thing you've said today, I agree with.
So if we do that...
Give me a bit longer.
What result will we achieve?
It's a really uncomfortable
You've got to tell the people of Britain, if you want to spend 1.5 trillion...
And you brought this man in just to argue with me.
If you were to spend...
It's a debate. It's a fucking... what the whole thing is you bring someone on to challenge your view, and then you kind of have it out and have a proper discussion, but she just seems completely unable to do it. And unfortunately, Konstantin's not really spoken for this. To be fair, he didn't really need to. She's made herself look like an idiot. So yeah, just two pretty good clips that I thought were kind of relevant. Both of them about a year or two old, I think. About a year old. Again, they just seem like they're getting more and more relevant, especially the hate speech one with everything that's been going on in the UK, as well as all the climate change shenanigans. I mean, that's been affecting Western countries globally. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is hate speech a thing? I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.